Welcome back after a break of 2 weeks. Before we left off, we were on the portion where Bhagwan in 21 explained that the Shrestha Purushas, humans are copycats, and they will copy somebody whom they think is Shrestha. And I told you the meaning of Shrestha is one who has the knowledge and also follows that. So even any ordinary person also is a Shrestha Purusha for somebody. Like the parents are great for little children, so or your brothers and sisters, your siblings, the older brother or sister is a Shrestha Purusha. So we cannot say that, oh, we are not anything great. For somebody we will be great, and they will follow us. So this is what Bhagwan says, that people follow, and that's the reason that Bhagwan has taught this knowledge to Arjun, because Arjun was being followed. Followed means not followed physically, but whatever he did was considered as, oh, Arjun did it, so I should do it, kind of thing. And that's why. And then Bhagwan goes to explain to him that, look at me. Look at me. I have no duties whatsoever in the three worlds. And yet I continue to do action after action after action. Right from the time of my birth, right up to now, I have engaged in action. And why is that? Because people will look at me and say, oh, he is not doing anything, then why should I do? People should not say like that. People should not do like that. That's why I'm constantly engaged in action. In 22, as the actions he did in his avatar, from his birth, his reincarnation in this world to the very end. And then he goes on to say that, imagine if I stop working, then this world cannot survive. It is not a statement of arrogance, but what it is he is the brilliance in the sun. He is the coolness in the moon. He is the sapidity in the water. So if he is the gravitational force, so if he withdraws those things, how can we survive? We will not survive without sun, moon, because the moon is giving nourishment to the seeds. Rain is coming because of him. So if there is no rain, then how can we survive? Because there won't be any crops. So from his Ishwar standpoint of Ishwara, he says, if I stop working, the world cannot survive. And look at my birth. Look at what I have done in my lifetime. So in any case, action is unavoidable. That is the point he's making. And then he says that those worlds would perish if I didn't perform. So from the Ishvara standpoint. And then he says there are people who are karmis, like I've explained to you, who are doing action for their selfish desires. We must not disturb them. Do not disturb them, because there is a ladder of evolution. Not doing work is not allowed. But if they are doing work for selfish reasons, those who are doing work even for their own selfish reasons are a little bit higher than the ones that are not working. So if they are working for selfish reasons, they have still not come into this knowledge or whatever, let them work. Do not disturb their mental state. Let them keep working. There will come a stage in their life when they themselves will start realizing, I have done so much and I'm still going about it. Let them come to that conclusion on their own. As per our karmas of the past, some of us realize that earlier in life, some of them realize later. There are some who don't realize it at all. And then in the next life, they will continue with that. And somewhere in their cycle of birth and death, they will realize it. So he says, if they're doing work, don't disturb them. That's what he said. And we did 26 also. Na buddhi vedam janayed adnyanam karma sanginam. The adnyanis, the ignorant people, who are they? They do not know karma yoga. Adnyani doesn't mean here that he's not educated or anything. That is one aspect. Adnyani also is not referring to those who don't know the self. Here, because we are in the transactional world, this chapter, Adnyani is one who doesn't know the principles of karma yoga. Forget knowing the self. That is even higher. But to do actions with a sense of duty, with a sense of surrender, to do action to neutralize likes and dislikes, to do actions to purify the mind, that they don't know. That is what is meant by ajnani here. They say, why should I purify my mind? I'm working and I'm earning and it's for my enjoyment and my family's enjoyment. What has purity of mind got to do with all this? So those are the ajnanis that he's talking about. So those, let them samacharan. They do work very well. They work very hard. Let them work. Let them work. Then we were on 27 and we had started that. So prakritehe kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashaha. All actions are made up of the qualities of prakriti. And prakriti, I told you, is sattva, rajas, and tamas. Sattva, rajas, tamas should not be understood as attributes of prakriti. Okay, attribute of prakriti is different. Prakriti itself is sattva, rajas, and tamas. And whatever, therefore, has come from prakriti has to have these three qualities, because whatever is in the cause is going to come in the effect. We have seen that from prakriti or maya have come the 5 elements. So all 5 elements have these 3 aspects. Then from the sattvic aspect of these elements has come the mind intellect. From the rajasic aspect has come the pranas, and from the tamasic aspect has come from the gross body. And therefore, we, all of us, all human beings, all animals, all plants, because they have come from the 5 elements, they have this sattva, rajas, and tamas. These 3 gunas they have. Nobody, even a realized master, has got tamas. Why? He has got the body. As long as his body is there, he sleeps. Less time, maybe 3-4 hours, but he does sleep, and that is coming from tamas. So all of us have sattva, rajas, tamas. None of them, any one of them cannot go to 0. The percentage only can be controlled by us. So the ideal percentage for a spiritual seeker would be maximum sattva followed by rajas and then very little tamas. That is how the percentage should work, not maximum tamas and then little, or those who are karmis, they have maximum rajas, 90% rajas. So they cannot sit quiet even for a minute. So that is 90% rajas. And then the rest, out of the rest, more is tamas, because they are only thinking of their family, how I'll get richer, how I'll get material benefits. So that is what if they think like that, it is for the body. Because why? My family coming from body, comforts of my body, it's a tamasic. So there is more tamas and then very little sattva. When the sattva increases, then this rajasic person will start thinking, I think I should purify my mind. Somewhere he'll hear something, and then what happens is rajas starts decreasing and then sattva will increase, and that is what we have to have maximum sattva, then followed by rajas and minimum tamas. Okay, so here he whose mind is deluded by egoism thinks he thinks he is doing it. He doesn't understand that this is a play of the gunas. This play of the gunas, he is himself, Bhagavan himself is explaining in the next verse. So I will continue with the next verse. Tattva vittu mahabaho gunakarma vibhagayoho guna guneshu vartante iti matva na sajjate. But he who knows the truth, O mighty armed, about the divisions of the qualities and their functions, and who knows that gunas as senses move amidst gunas as objects, is not attached. That is what is guna guneshu vartante. Guna is interacting with another guna. This is what is happening. So this is the phenomena of action that Bhagavan is giving us. Okay, and we will explain that. Guna karma vibhagayo. Tattva with tu is that but. Tattva with tu, that is the break. So but one who is a tattva with who knows the principle. Here tattva should not be understood as the self. He understands the play of prakriti. That is what all this chapter is at the transactional level. Okay, so when tattva, if we use the word tattva, then tattva means the pure self. But here it is not he who knows the pure self, because the one who knows the pure self, this chapter is not meant for him. That means he's a realized master. This chapter is not. This chapter is meant for people. Actually, it's literally meant for us. We have to be this tattva with, we have to be at this stage. Okay, all spiritual seekers we must be this tattvavit. Now, what is this tattva? Tattva is Mahabaho, referring to Arjun. You are mighty arm, you are strong. You should know this. Means mentally also you're strong. You should know this. Guna and karma vibhaga yoho. So vibhaga, division of guna and karma. Now, the gunas are three: sattva, rajas, tamas. Karma is coming out of what is maximum. So let's see. A person who has maximum sattva, sattvic action will come. Rajasic action will come for a person who has more rajas, and a tamasic action will come. How does that work? Sattva is one which is associated with knowledge. So a person who has knowledge that I should purify my mind, that is the knowledge that we need. In this chapter, we need the knowledge that I must have a pure mind. Okay. The one who thinks like that purity of mind is important, then what he will do is he will do action. He will get the benefit of that action because he has done it, means external result. But at the same time, he will get purity because he's following the principles of karma yoga, which will be, Bhagwan will again explain in the next verse. So that is how he will work. Means a sattvic person will work externally for purity of mind. A rajasic person, maximum rajas, will also work outside. Now, the work that is put out outside by a sattvic person and a rajasic person is same. Is similar. The goal, the rajasic person is, I want more money, I want more comforts, me and my family, we should prosper. That is the thinking. He's not thinking of purity of mind. Okay. And a tamasic person is not going to think of either one. He's tamas. So he's not even bothered about external work. So tamas is this. Now this guna and karma, how does this division happen? Sattva, there are four our varnas. There's Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. Okay. So maximum sattva followed by rajas, minimum tamas is a Brahmin. Now, who is a Brahmin? Not by birth, but this person has now developed sattvic qualities, become more sattvic. So his actions are, he is performing as a rajasic person would act. So there is a lot of performance, but it is for purity of mind. He becomes a Brahmin. One who is working for purification of the mind, where purification of mind is number one goal. Number two goal is material benefit, material prosperity. This is in transactional world. We want material prosperity, but at the same time, we need purity of mind. A person who is maximum rajas, followed by sattva, minimum tamas is a kshatriya. Okay. Why? Because a kshatriya, in those days, they were warriors. They were fighting for their country, or army, modern day army. The soldier is going on the war front for his own country. So it is not for his selfish reason that he's going, but he is going, that becomes a kshatriya. Okay. A Vaishya is maximum rajas followed by tamas. So this karmi is a Vaishya. Karmi falls under Vaishya. Why? Because every time he will say, what is in it for me? What is in it for me? Even if you ask him to work for the mission, he'll say, what is my commission? Because his mind is, what do I get out of it? He is not thinking of purity. He's not thinking of purity of mind. So he doesn't even understand what purity is, why should I have it? All those things. He is ajnani. That's what the word ajnani in the previous verse. He is an ajnani. So he is a Vaishya. And a Shudra is maximum tamas, followed by rajas and very minimal sattva. So when the sattva is very minimum, purity of mind doesn't become very important. Doesn't become important at all. There is no sattvikata in the mind. That is what is meant by guna and vibhaga. These divisions of Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, Bhagwan has based on the gunas of that person. And the gunas we can change. That part has to be understood. Don't think, that's why Gurudev always said that a baby, a child, when it's born, all babies are Shudras only. We say very Brahmin, big, high, red family, but the baby is Shudra because he doesn't understand anything. And as the baby grows, as the child grows and starts developing his own individuality, then he will start showing his tendencies, which he has brought from his past lives. So he will be more Rajas or Tamas or Sattvic. We see for children, we see some person is interested in sciences, some person is interested in literature, somebody in music, somebody in dance. That is how these divisions are now happening. Okay, now a person can do dance, they can do as a fundraiser for somebody. They're very interested in dance. They can do whatever talent that you have. Either you use it for your own self, you can, or you can use it as a fundraiser for something else. So whatever that you do outside can be done with two different motivations. And that is what will determine this sattva. But they feed off of each other. As you become more and more sattvic, you will feel that, okay, I have this talent. Why don't I go and volunteer somewhere and help somebody? That sort of thoughts will come. I have this money. Why don't I do some charity? Why don't I, why don't I do some good for somebody? This is how you will know that sattva is getting more and more in the mind. And therefore, this is how the action is coming out. Why? Because of these gunas. Okay. Now, the Ajnani doesn't understand this. So he thinks he's doing it. So see, a person who is doing charity also can say, see me, I have given so much money. I have given so much donation. I have given so much time to this organization. He's Rajasic. He's a karmi. Okay, even though his action is good, but his attitude is not for the purification of the mind. This part has to be understood. So for us, what we should do, and Bhagwan is not asking us to change. So no need to change your job or nothing. Whatever that you're doing externally, you keep doing it. But in your mind, you think that, you know what, I want purity of mind. So I should not do these things. I should do these things, that sort of thing. Now, guna guneshu vartante. So now let's see how action exactly comes out. Sattva is knowledge, rajas is dynamism, and tamas is inertia. So you need all these three. I have explained this many times before, so some of you might find it as a repetition, but that is how it is. There's only one thing that it can't change. To do any action, first of all, you need knowledge. You need the knowledge of how to do it. So let's take a very, very simple example of a recipe, cooking. If I don't have the recipe, either I have to have it in my head or on paper. Somewhere I have to have it. This is the recipe for this one. This is what I'm going to use. That is knowledge. You need that. Okay. Number two, you need the dynamism to collect all those ingredients, to make sure that you have all the instruments to do that. You may need a grinder, you may need something else, you may need something else. So all that dynamic, that I want to do this, that is rajas, that is dynamism. Say if you're lazy, yeah, of course I know, but you know what, I don't even feel like doing it. Then that is tamas. And the tamas is your own body you need to work, which is tamasic. And all the instruments also fall under tamas. So there is the body that is required to work. So this is how tamas, rajas, and sattva, they interact with each other. So there is the knowledge, which is telling the dynamic person, this is how do it this way. And the person is actually doing it also. This is how I have to do it, and let me do it. And then the person needs a body. Without his own body, how can he do it? Or he can ask somebody else to do it, but then that somebody else's body is there. So it is my knowledge, but I'm teaching somebody else, or telling somebody, okay, please do it this way, this way, this way, this way. And this is how the gunas are. This is what is called by guna guneshu vartante. The guna is interacting with the other gunas. So sattva is telling rajas what to do. Rajas is collecting the instruments or the body to do it. Because only dynamism without body, what is the point? There's no point. So you need all these things. And this is a iti matvana sajate. So he knows this, The tattva with, and tattva here is this tattva, this principle. Here tattva should be translated as principle, not the pure self, but the principle of an action is that it is happening because of the interaction of the three gunas. I am taking ownership. If I take ownership, it is my ego. That is what he knows. And therefore, he doesn't take on the doership. That is what is meant by ego or doership. When I say that, you know what, I had the knowledge and I had the instruments and I did all this, it is coming from ego. And when you tell somebody else, you will say that. In normal parlance, if somebody says, oh, who made this? Of course you have to say I made. You can't say, you know, the gunas interacted and they made. That people will not understand. But in your mind, you should know. This is the whole thing about Vedanta, is a shift in mind, shift in mental attitude. So in your mind, you should know that, and therefore that gratitude, oh, thank God, I had the knowledge, I had the materials in the home, and therefore I could do it. So what happens is when you bring in God in there, when you bring that attitude of gratitude in everything, people say, I'm a self-made man, I'm a self-made woman. How are you self-made? What did you know when you were born? Who taught you to walk? Who taught you to talk? Who showed you the first, oh, what is the donkey? Now I know because I'm showing my grandchild. Who is teaching? Color blue, donkey, horse. Somebody taught you, na? Then you went to school, then the teachers taught you. How you became self-made? Can't be. Can't be. It's not possible. So that is why that attitude of gratitude should be there for us. Very, very special, because we are on the path. You know, we are on this path. Okay, this is a very important verse. These two. This is how we have to be, huh? This is what we have to be in daily life. So anytime you do anything, na, and please, huh, it is not meant for telling others. You say, who made this? I did it, huh? That you say. That please do not. But in your mind, you know. Okay, clear? Now comes verse number 30, which is the heart of this chapter. Okay, so it's the most important verse in this chapter. 5 points are there that we have to understand. Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya adhyatma chetasa.
You left 29, Jayaji. You have not done 29.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Thank you. I was so excited to do 30. That's why I skipped it. No, it was sorry. And yeah. Prakruter guna sammudaha sajjante guna karmasu tan krishna vido mandan krishna vitna vichalayet. Those deluded by the qualities of nature are attached to the function of the qualities. The man of perfect knowledge should not unsettle the foolish who is of imperfect knowledge. Now, once again, the man of perfect knowledge here, of course, a man of perfect knowledge can be realized master, but we are not at that stage. So a spiritual seeker, an advanced spiritual seeker who is aware of the play of the gunas, and he knows that he is not the doer, but now he's seeing somebody else. What is those deluded by the qualities of what is delusion by qualities of the nature is to think that I have the knowledge. I did it. That is delusion. That is delusion. Just to think that I did it. In the outside world, yes, you will use the word I. Okay? Please do not say the gunas did it and, you know, I was just standing here. No, they will not understand. They will think you belong in a mental hospital. Now, what is she talking about? So you will say, but in your mind, you have to know at every single point. And every single thought that comes to you, oh, thank God, you gave me this thought, therefore I did this. You gave me this thought, therefore I did this. So that is now here a man of perfect knowledge, man or woman of perfect knowledge. What is the knowledge? Perfect knowledge here is to know that the gunas are acting. I am not doing. That is perfect knowledge. Huh? That is not nothing to do with pure. It means, of course, pure. But that way. Okay, now the one who is deluded, and now he's acting and he goes on saying, I did this and I did this and I did this. Okay, okay, go on. The point here Bhagwan is saying, at least he's doing now. See, because he could have just said, I'm not going to do. So that is not an option for anybody. Not doing is not. Therefore, Bhagwan has said that earlier, that we have no choice. That is to be understood. People think that they have a choice. I will not act. I will not do. What you will not do? You're breathing. You're doing. Finish. You're eating. You're sleeping. You're watching TV. That people don't know. So the one who is acting for his selfish desires, who thinks he's the one that he did, and therefore he got a promotion, and therefore he went so up high up in his career, whatever he's thinking, okay, fine, let him keep doing. Because Bhagwan has the faith that one day he will realize, I've done so much, what is the point? That junction, when it will come, we don't know. We don't know that. Some people, like I said, it will come in early ages. Bhagwan Shankaracharya, of course, age 8, he left everything. But, that's why we see different ages of our Swamijis also. 20, Tejomanji 18. Like, at that age, because they have done it in the past, so they come to realize that, no, this is not, this sansar is only sorrowful. I need to go for this path, right? So that is what he's saying here. The man of perfect knowledge should not unsettle the foolish. Foolish doesn't mean unintelligent. He could be very, very intelligent, a class topper, everything. So that is not uneducated, nothing. But in Vedantic parlance, a person is foolish, considered foolish, or ajnani is, one thing is he doesn't know the pure self, or he doesn't know the play of the gunas, as per this chapter. Because I told you that as per the chapter, the definition of things will change. And in some other chapter, if it is ajnani, I might say something totally different. But this chapter now we are. Okay, that's why this is important for us. So, and one more point is that we must not think of any guna to be bad. They are all required, just like I've said, the Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra are 4 pillars on the ceiling. How can you say that Shudra we don't need, or Shudra are the feet? Oh, I don't need my feet. I only need Brahman's face. That's most important. It can't be like that. Same way, you need Sattva, you need Rajas, and you definitely need Tamas, because the body does need rest. At some point, it is going to want to rest. So that Tamas has to be there. Okay, so all 3 are important. When the real evolved spiritual seekers, they know what guna is required at what time, and they will recall. They will recall, now I need sattva and rajas. So they will recall. So the gunas become their servants. They're like the 3 servants that we have. What is happening to most people is, the person is a slave of the gunas. The person, they think this is very important point. So therefore, when you are asked to take rest after surgery, you are dying to do something. What should I do? What should I do? You're a slave of rajas then. You need tamas. You need to invoke tamas at those points. There are stages in our life when we need tamas. We need to sleep. We need to rest. And we need to be able to invoke. There are times when we need that sattva, to face challenges in life, to know what is to be done. What should I do now? Because we come to crossroads in our lives all the time. We need to make decisions all the time. That time sattva is required. Then you should be able to recall sattva. So like 3, keep them as 3 servants. Whenever you need whatever, call and then send them back. Go sit in your place now. Don't be a slave to them. All right? Okay? Clear? All right. Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya adhyatma chetasa nirashir nirmamo bhutva yudhyasya vigatajvaraha. Renouncing all actions in me, with the mind centered on the self, free from hope and egoism, free from mental fever, do you fight. This is the most important verse in this chapter. It contains all the principles of Karma Yoga. This is the method, this is the attitude in which every action, not special actions to be done like this, every single action in our life, whatever we do, we eat, we drink, we speak, walk, we cook, we go work, we teach, whatever is our job, whatever has to be done like this. So there are 5 points here. One thing is Mai Sarvani Karmani, number 1. Number 2 is Adhyatma Chetasaha. Number 3 is Nirashi is Nira Asha. Nira. That Nira goes with Nir Asha and Nir Mamo. So Nir Mama, Nira Asha 2. And the third one is Vigata Jwara. So there's 5 totally. Mai Sarvani Karmani, Adhyatma Chetasaha, Nir Asha, Nir Mama, and Vigata Jwara. These are the 5 important points in this verse. So let's start with Mai Sarvani Karmani. Mai here does not, in me, does not refer to Lord Krishna. It refers now to the pure self. This Mai, Bhagwan is not saying, so somebody else will say, but you're not my Ishta Devata, you know, Shankar is, Shivji is, then what? No. So Mai is the pure self. All actions, Mai Sarvani. So all, he's not saying special actions you dedicate to me and all other actions you can do whatever. Sarvani word, very important. All actions. So in me. Now, what does it mean? In me. In me means what we have already explained, but this is the first principle. Surrendering the ego to the Lord, to the pure self. So either you become an instrument of the Lord, or you become a servant of the Lord, or whichever way that you want, but considering him to be supreme. So at our level, considering purity of mind to be most important. When you consider that, okay, that's why Adhyatma Chetas will come. So Mai Sarvani Karmani, to the pure self, all actions to be dedicated to him. So one way of doing it is you bring in the Lord. I've told you, thank you, Lord. Another way, before beginning, very easy these tips are, start by writing Om on the top. That's it. Remembering him. Remembering him, you do all actions. Okay. So my word to be understood as the pure self. Next. Adhyatma Chetasa. Adhyatma self. Chetasa mind. So this Adhyatma Chetasa is to be understood at 3 levels. So at one level, to consider God to be supreme. Okay, so there is a God, and okay, I have recognized that he is the most important thing in my life, he or she. Okay, so that is one level, which is the lowest. That's the lowest level. That's because if you don't consider God as anything, then this chapter is not meant for you. So that is the lowest. The second one is mind abiding in the self. See, Adhyatma is self, Chetas is mind. So at one level, the mind considering the Lord to be supreme, lowest. The mind abiding in the self, abiding in the Lord. And the third and the highest level is the mind merged in the Lord. Now, the third level doesn't apply to this chapter. Why? Because if the mind is merged in the self, he's a realized master, this whole chapter becomes redundant for him. So if the mind is totally merged in the self, Mai Sarvani Karmani, where is the question of offering actions? I myself have become one with you. Where is the question of offering my actions to you? So that doesn't apply, but that is one meaning of this Adhyatma. These 3 meanings have to be understood at 3 different levels. Now, the middle one is mind abiding in the self. Mind abiding in the self is Adhyatma Nitya. What is the meaning of abiding in the self? Means every single interaction, every single minute of the day, you have to, God has to come in there. Somehow, God, you bring it. Whatever, whichever way you want to bring in, bring in. Whichever. That is abiding. Okay. If you can't do that, then at least think he's supreme. At least that is the lowest. So these lowest and the middle one is where we have to be. So we can start with thinking Lord as being the supreme. And we already are there because we are attending these classes. We are members, right? So we are attending the classes. So we are where we think he is the supreme. Now, if he is supreme, then your mind should automatically gravitate towards the supreme, shouldn't it? Or should it go towards the outer lower worlds? Whatever is most important, we think about, na? If money is most important, then every time I'll think, how much money am I going to get? How much money am I going to save? How am I going to increase my investments? Whatever is important to us, our mind is going to gravitate towards that. So if you consider that to be a supreme and start there, then as you go on doing your actions, thinking that the Lord is supreme. So if the Lord is supreme, I would like to reach that Lord. To reach that Lord, what do I need is purity of mind. This is what Tattvavit is for this chapter. This principle, if I know, then how will I do my action? I will do it for purification of my mind. Because if I know that this action is not going to give me purity, then I need to think I have to change my attitude or not do that action. Right? Like some people, if everybody is now drinking, I also want to go and drink, I can stay with my principles now and say, no, I am not going to drink. You guys want to do it, go ahead, do it. But I won't do it. Right? So first, this is what Adhyatma Chetas is. Adhyatma, self, Chetas, mind. Okay? So either you consider, not either, you have to be at a stage where you consider Lord to be supreme and then go into the abiding in the Lord, where you bring in the Lord in every thing. Now, so this karmani, how do I do it? So there are three things that are given: nira, asha, nira mama, and vigata. So nira and vigata mean the same thing. Without, it's a negative prefix. So nira means without asha. We'll see what asha is. Without mama, attachment, and then without jwara. Vigata is without. So asha. There are three things. Asha is hope. Okay, so now where is hope? In the 3 periods of time, hope is always in the future. Do I hope that yesterday it should not have rained? If it rained, it rained. So asha, this word, refers to the future. Okay, now what he's saying is without hope. So without hope of the future, now how does that work? Like, if I have to go somewhere, will I not hope that, oh Lord, I hope it doesn't snow because it's difficult to drive in the snow. So when this hope word is used, what hope is, it is a result which is going to come in the future, and hoping or insisting that only and only this result must come. That Bhagavan is saying, without. Don't insist. You do your action without, of course, every person will do an action with some result in mind. It is said there is a saying in Sanskrit, even the manda buddhi, a dumb person is not going to act if there was some result was not in his mind. But to insist and that then to become miserable because I didn't get that result or something else came, that Bhagavan is saying, that asha you don't have. So understand this. Therefore, Gurudev has very beautifully translated these 3 words. His anxieties of the future. Anxiety. Don't have anxiety about the result. You do have a result in mind. You must have a result in mind. Otherwise, how will you work towards that result? So the result has to be there in the mind, but it should not cause any mental agitation. That is what is meant by nir asha. Very important point. There's a principle. These are principles of karma yoga. 5, right? So nira asha, nira mama. Attachment is in the past. I cannot think that tomorrow I'll see somebody and I'll get attached to that person or place or situation. I cannot imagine attachment. Attachment is already formed. It is in the past. So what this past is, worries about the past. So what is worry about the past? You know what? I did this thing, same thing, last year, and then it was such a failure and it didn't happen. Now what will happen today? So when you're bringing that past into your present, where you have failed, either way you should not bring. So maybe you had great success. So what will happen is, in the present, it will make you complacent. Arey, I have done this so many times, 100% success all the time. So I'll be careless now. So either way, that past should not be. Past, in Vedanta is, see, when we are all driving. So when we drive, we have a rear view mirror. Now, when we learn driving, do they tell us that just keep looking at the rear view mirror and drive? Can you do that? Is it possible? What do they tell us? At least I know I was told by young drivers when I learned driving 40 years ago, they said every 8 seconds, you must look at the mirror. Now, question arises, what? Am I going to look at the watch? 8 seconds. Oh, let me look. 8 seconds. Then the instructor told me, no, not that you are looking at the watch. Once every block, you look at the mirror. And you cannot remember the license plates from the back. You just kind of remember vaguely what type of car it is or what color. That's it. And when you look at the rear view, you don't turn your head. You only turn your eyes, because your face should be always facing forward. So the rear view mirror is to be only looked at just briefly to know what is there. Same way, we have to use these thoughts of the past should be like the rear view mirror. Once in a while you think, okay, that's it. Not like you bring that whole past into your present. Now, either you become complacent because you have said, this is what happened to Arjun. See, Arjun, why did he get arrogant? He had never lost a battle in his life. He had never lost. That's why his name was Vijay. And he thought, I cannot lose. Let me see who I have to fight. Therefore, Bhagavan said, you have to fight Bhishmacharya and Dronacharya, whom you never fought before. You won all the wars, but Bhishma and Drona were not standing there. Your family was not standing there in front of you. So you won the wars. Now it is a different situation. So we must never think, because we may have done the same thing, recipes. We may have done the same and we may have succeeded, but something can go wrong today when we do it today. So worries about the past, do not worry. Leave the past. Don't forget it completely. You must, suppose if you made some mistake last time, you must remember that mistake. Oh, you know what? Last time, this is what I did. And therefore it didn't turn out good. So today I must make sure that this mistake doesn't happen. That is what nirmama is. So every action to be done with these attitudes. Okay. Then Vigata Jwara literally translated is fever, but here it is excitement. So in the present, excitement is always in the present. Excitement cannot be for the past. What has happened has happened. What now am I getting excited about something happened in the past? Or can I get excited about, I might just imagine, oh, I'll get very excited if this thing happens, but is there a guarantee that that thing will happen in the future? So excitement happens only in the present. This is referring to 3 periods of time. So there is the past, there is the future, Asha, there is the past, Mama, and the present is Jwara, excitement. So when you get very excited, what is happening? The mind is disturbed. What is excitement? What is agitation? It's a disturbance of the mind. So what is being told is keep your mind at peace. The only way to keep it at peace is to remain in the present. If you keep bringing the past failures in there or keep bringing the successes in there, it is going to disturb your mind. Either you're going to be complacent or arrogant. What happened to Arjun? Arrogance will come. How can I fail now? I've never failed before. Or then, oh my God, what will happen? So if you bring the past, they're going. Now you are insist, I will die if this result doesn't come. Again, you brought the future into the present. So keep the past and the future in their own places. Stay in the present. Keep your mind calm and focus on the work that is at hand. Therefore, Gurudev has said, keep your mind where your hands are. How many of us can, even I cannot claim that my mind is where the hands are. especially if there are things which I've done repeatedly, the mind is wandering. Okay, so this is the principle. This is the principle of karma yoga. So Mahi karmani sarvani. So surrender to the Lord. Okay, adhyatma chetasa, considering the Lord to be supreme, is for so leading to purification of the mind. So asangata, detachment, will give purification of mind. Likes and dislikes neutralized. The nirashi, you're not bringing worries of the past into the present. You're detached from the worries of the past and you're detached from the anxieties of the future. So you're constantly detached. Detachment is extremely important for purification of the mind. Okay, so prasada buddhi is relating to future. We have given 5 principles, right? Kartavya buddhi, sense of duty, sense of surrender, sense of detachment, sense of prasad buddhi. So kartavya buddhi, asanga buddhi, surrender is, and samatva buddhi, surrender and then samatva, equanimity. So equanimity is vigata jwara. Equanimity of mind is vigata jwara. So your mind is equanimous, it is focused, it is calm, it is quiet, it is concentrated. A pure mind is able to concentrate on whatever is the hands are doing. So it's a concentrated mind, not bringing the past into here, not bringing the future. Future, prasad buddhi, whatever comes, oh Bhagwan, I will accept, because I know that the result doesn't depend only on my action of the present. It is depending on many, many factors of my past lives, which I have no control over. This is to be known. This is to be known. So whatever result you give me, I accept. I accept as yours. So that becomes prasada buddhi. Then Mai sarvani, surrender. You're offering all your Lord. Surrender, because you're considering Lord to be supreme. You're the instrument of the Lord, or you're a servant of the Lord. Means you have surrendered. Mai karvani samani. Adhyatma, thinking the mind, so purity. Not bringing the past, samatva will give samatvam, equanimity. This is how these principles work. So not that Bhagwan has given this principle, but our acharyas have culled all this. This is, this is like the essence of this chapter. So karma yoga, because that's why karma yoga adhyay this is, right? So these are the principles of karma yoga. Very, very important. This is not meant for a realized master. It is meant for a spiritual seeker. Therefore, adhyatma chetasa in this verse doesn't mean a mind which is merged in the self. Though one meaning of adhyatma chetasa is mind merged in the self. Okay? Clear? Any questions? Yeah. Vigat present, yeah. Mamata is I-ness and minus also is mama. So it's me and mine. So I do the actions for me, myself, and my people, my family. That should not be there. All right. Clear? Any questions? Anybody? Everybody okay? Okay. 31. ये मे मतमिदं नित्यम् अनुतिष्ठन्ति मानवाः श्रद्धावन्तो न सूयन्तो मुच्यन्तेऽपि कर्मभिः. Those men who constantly practice this teaching of mine, full of faith and without cavilling, they too are freed from actions. Okay, so this now, ye me matam idam nityam. This is my opinion. That's why I've always told you, full in Bhagavad Gita, you will see the humility of the Lord. He's not saying this is my instruction. This should be followed by everybody. It's my opinion. You want to take it, you take it. You don't want to take it, you don't take it. But if you take it, have full faith. Full faith. That's why he says, who constantly practice this teaching of mine. What teaching? Given in 30. Mayi sarvani karmani sanyasyat adhyatma chetasa. Sanyasya, their word is there, which is renouncing. So what are you renouncing? Nirasha. So you're renouncing asha. You're renouncing the mamata from the past. You're renouncing the excitement in the future, in the present. Okay, so one who is doing this is my opinion, that if you do it this way, he will be, and this asuya is jealousy actually. Anasuya is, so cavilling means, cavilling is, when you're making fun of it, like, oh, you, what this is. Sometimes we say, this, what is that opinion? We should not do that. Bhagwan, that's why we have to have the faith that these are Bhagwan's words. They cannot be wrong at any time, any place, in any situation, for any work. That faith we must have. Okay, so with that strong faith, when we do it, muchante, they freed from actions. Once again, I repeat, it is not a physical freeing from action, but it is a freedom from the doership and enjoyership, which is freedom from ego. Ego nasha, you destroy the ego completely. It is realization. So therefore, this becomes a means. First, we have to get freed from the shackles of doership and enjoyership. Those are the ropes that are binding us, Asha Pasha, in further 16 or 17, he used this word. Asha Pasha, Pasha is rope binding you. So this hope of the future is all, the best example is when you go to Las Vegas and you use the slot machines. Yeah, next week I'll get it. Next, that is Asha Pasha. So the hope keeps us going. This will happen. I'll do this, then this result will come. I'll do this, then this result will come. And we keep doing that action. That freedom from anxiety is required. Doing action is not a problem. It's not a problem. We can do action. We know that. But that anxiety should not be there. You're just waiting for a flight and people get so anxious, when is it? Arey Baba, we are waiting at the gate. Now that flight will leave, maybe 5-10 minutes late. People get anxious there, I have seen. But what is there to get anxious? What is there to get worried? There are 3 lines. Arey, we have got a boarding card, we have got a seat number, we are going to go in. Even if we go last, we'll go. People are going like this. That anxiety should not be there. A spiritual state to be calm, okay. Whatever, that is what is meant by freedom from action. Freedom from action is never to be taken as, I will not do any action, that I will not have to do any action. You will have to do action. Till death of the body, action will continue. But you definitely can be freed from the anxieties, the worries in the mind, the agitations. Calmly, chalta hai, ho jayega. This sort of attitude we should have. Not like we are being careless. Don't consider it to be being careless, but without that worry. Okay? I'm going to stop here.